The stock market just had its worst week since October. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped another 500 points to this Friday to basically close out one of the worst weeks that we've seen since the start of the pandemic. I'm going to explain to you what's going on with the stock market, what you can expect with your stocks, and why this is, to some extent, much ado about nothing and completely predictable. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor on the Black Financial Channel. We talk about Black economics, Black wealth, and investing several times a day, as much as 10 times a day, because we are changing the culture. The one thing that we want from you, even if you're not Black, is we need you to be B1. B1 means that we put our people at the top of the priority list. B1 means that we believe Black people can be number one when it comes to investing and wealth building in the next 50 years. B1 also means that we understand we must be one in order to be successful. So yes, Nicole Jones, this is live. Nicole, the reason I'm answering your question is because my beautiful wife, Alicia, her middle name is Nicole. So I like the name Nicole, and we have a daughter named Nicole. So there you go. So, but anyway, even if I wasn't live, the information would still be the same and still be relevant. So let's not even worry about that. All right. So put your B1 in the chat. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button right now. Please do that. Let's get it started. Let's get it cracking. Okay. How many of you have noticed? Give me a yes or no. How many of you have noticed that the stock market has been kind of in some pain? Put a yes in the chat if you've noticed a little bit of a dip in your stocks. Put a yes in the chat if you've noticed your stocks kind of getting their butt kicked. Now, Nicole made a donation. Well, thank you, Nicole. Look at that. And ain't she sweet? I appreciate that. All right. And so thank you for supporting the channel, by the way. That really helps us to get things done. We actually hire Black people. We're not just people yapping on the internet. We actually hire lots of Black people. So Don Trill is asking, is the Knowledge Fest kid friendly? Yes, the Knowledge Fest, which I'm going to be at the Knowledge Fest tomorrow in Louisville, Kentucky. It is, from what I understand, very kid friendly. And I'm actually going to put the URL up if anybody wants to join us. We're in Louisville right now for the Knowledge Fest. I'm excited because this is the first live event I've done, I think, since the beginning of the pandemic. And so this is pretty cool. And I'll try to find the URL and put it up on the screen. But with that said, let's jump into the conversation. So basically, you have this crazy thing going on with the, by the way, there's the URL for Knowledge Fest if you want to get a ticket, meetinc.org. But yeah, so the stock market's been kind of, getting its butt kicked a little bit. It's been real messy. And a lot of you are probably worried or concerned about what you've been seeing in your stock portfolio. And let me tell you why it's messing up. And then let me tell you why I think it's going to be okay. Well, it's messing up because the Federal Reserve is now, they're kind of just having a reality check. For a long time, the Federal Reserve was, for some reason, they were insisting upon this false idea that inflation was fine, that there was nothing to worry about, that they could just go and print money whenever they want, and all these other things, and just beef up the money supply, and it wasn't going to affect the value of the dollar or put us in a risky position inflation-wise. Well, they're starting to second guess that position. And the big debate right now is whether or not this is a temporary issue or a permanent issue. It's like if your teenager gets in trouble and they mouth off a little bit, one of your friends might say, oh, this is very serious. This shows that your son is going to grow up and become a prison inmate. He's a terrible person. Or somebody else might say, no, he's just going through a phase. He's just going through a phase. So basically, the chairman of the Fed, Jay Powell, is saying that the stock market, or the economy, is going through a phase, that inflation is natural. It's going to happen because you have supply bottlenecks. When you restrict the supply of a commodity, the price is going to go up. So the price of lumber went up super high because lumber was hard to get. The prices of of cars and all kinds of microchip related devices has gone up. Why? Well, because we having a hard time getting enough microchips. So these supply constraints, like when that one company got hacked and they couldn't supply oil to the entire Northeast or something, like that can increase the price of something. And what they're basically kind of saying is, this is not a big deal. This is fine. This is going to go away. But the problem is the stock market doesn't believe them. And also, they're finally coming out and they're confessing. Just like when you go to church and you confess, they're starting to confess that perhaps this inflation is something that says, okay, enough is enough. They don't have to continue this massive overwhelming, bond buying program that has been designed to help us get through the pandemic. There are people who believe that it's over, that the pandemic is over, that the economic downturn is over. So it's almost like you go to the doctor and you're really, really sick and you're about to die. So the doctor just pumps you full of antibiotics, like every single day, just tons and tons. And then eventually somebody says, okay, they're healthy, they're good. Don't give them too much. You give them too much, they're going to get sick, right? So now they're telling the Fed, like, slow your roll. It's too much. It's too much. So the Fed finally did kind of come out and admit that they were going to actually increase interest rates a little bit sooner than they were planning to before. Well, why is that important? Well, when they increase interest rates, that slows the economy down. That's like driving a car and putting the brakes on the car. So they admitted in Jay Powell's statement that they're going to shore up their money supply increase. They're going to start slowing that down toward the end of 2022, which is about a year earlier than what they previously said, which they previously had said it would be sometime in 2023. Also, there are governors in the Fed. I think a guy in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken, who said that he thinks that they're actually going to reduce the bond buying program sooner than they expect. Also, now he doesn't have a final vote. He doesn't have a final say in what's going to happen. A lot of the board of governors has to vote on this. But the fact that he even said that caused a further correction in stock prices. Now, here's what's going on. Now, first of all, let me just say, Charity's asking, how do we donate? Well, there should be maybe some donate button if you're on the YouTube channel. Another way you can support is I'd rather have you get something for your money. So if you'd like to help out what we're doing, maybe get some financial workbooks or flashcards for your kids, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. The URL is right there on the screen. Little things like that. So if you see us, offering something, if you support us in that way, that's really great. I don't really lean on charity. I'd rather give you something for your money. And if you don't feel like it's worth 5 times more than what you paid for it, then let us know. We don't mind giving a refund, because I really want you to be happy. I do not want you to be unhappy with anything that you buy from the Black Business School, because I want to see you succeed. And if you're not succeeding from what we did for you, then we'll give you your money back, and we also want you to tell us how we can do things better. So with that said, though, right now you've kind of got this this weird thing going on with this correction. Now, a correction in the market is not so bad. It's not a crash. It's not chaos, right? Think about this, right? If your stocks have gone up 40% and then they drop 5%, you're still up 35%. You're still good, right? And so a lot of these declines are not a big deal. They're nothing to freak out about. The only thing about it is that money has been very easy to make in the last year and a half. It has never been this easy to make money in the stock market. That's one of the reasons why I feel so sorry for people who had money, who had a little bit of money in their pocket and didn't even think to put it in the stock market. Went out and bought, shoes and cars and clothes and stuff, because there has rarely been any time in American history where it was this easy to make money. Now, Alicia's saying, is it time to short? I wouldn't say it's time to short. Now, maybe there are some short sell opportunities out there, but I wouldn't short this market. I wouldn't short the market as a whole. There is no indicator I see anywhere that says that this market is going to go down. The Dow's up to 30-something thousand. I remember when the Dow hit 10,000, and it was a big deal. People thought it couldn't go higher than that. Then it hit 15, then 20, then 25, then 30. Now it's, I guess, 33. I think it's going to keep going. I think the economy is strong. It is roaring. There are lots of good investing opportunities out there, and I wouldn't be afraid. And even crypto's not doing so bad. I'm looking at crypto. Crypto is down a little bit for sure, but if you look at how much it's up, it's kind of ridiculous. So it's amazingly up for the year. Like Ethereum, if you look at Ethereum is down today by 6%. It's down this week by 4.5%, but it's up this year by 866.72%. So one of the things that I want you to really kind of make sure that you don't do is don't get to the point where you are reacting to every single thing that happens, with crypto. Like, don't get to the point where, or the stock market, like, don't get to the point where you're thinking, okay, because it went down today or because it went down this week, I got to make a move. Sometimes you just sit there and just hold your assets over a long period of time, because there's always a story behind market movements. And I like talking about those stories so you can understand the market. But one of the things is that a lot of times it's like driving a car. You ain't got to move the steering wheel every time you run over a little rock, right? Or you ain't got to keep constantly wiggling the wheel. Sometimes you could just kind of let things coast and just kind of let things happen, okay? So let's see here. Let's see. These are scammers. Says, boys, how much would I make per month with 366,000 subscribers? On YouTube, I don't know. It kind of depends. I make a few $1,000s a month on my YouTube channel, but that's not the bulk of how I make my money. And YouTube is just really something where, as a teacher, I've been teaching college students for almost 30 years. I like talking to the people, and I see the internet as a wonderful opportunity to talk to lots of people around the world who couldn't afford to pay $72,000 a year to go to Syracuse University. Those students, those poor kids, are still in debt, a lot of them, and I didn't think it was worth that much. But so the internet's just a great way for me to talk to people. Now, maybe if I didn't cuss so much, I could probably make more money on my channel. But I don't really look at YouTube as a money making thing. But there are people who make money off their YouTube channel. You just got to be really careful, because if you do anything out of line on your channel, or you get into conspiracy theories, or honestly, I believe even if you get a little bit too black, you never know. They might shadow ban your channel, stuff like that. Like Fly Nubian Queen, where Vicky Dillard is. Vicky Dillard doesn't even cuss, and they shadow banned Fly Nubian Queen. They demonetized it, all that stuff, right? So Fly Nubian Queen doesn't make any revenue from any of the videos on Fly Nubian Queen. We just do it as a service to the community to allow Black women to have a space of independent media where they can share their voice, because I value the voices of Black women. We also have the Black Boss channel, which I'm going to put the URL on the screen. The Black Boss channel is to amplify the voices of Black men, because a lot of Black men are not being heard. And all I really ask at the end of the day is that we learn how to love each other, and that we understand how Black love is directly linked to fighting white supremacy. That you can't build a strong Black community economically if Black men and Black women hate each other. So if you want to know why I'm out here fighting this stupid, ridiculous, crazy battle, where I'm just challenging men to kind of get past this mindset where you're downgrading certain women and attacking women, or co-signing on negative statements about women, it's because you can't succeed without your women. Without your women, you can't do anything. And that's just a fundamental fact. Without your women, you can't even reproduce. So I really just think that we can respectfully challenge each other. We can respectfully have our standards. We can respectfully make our individual choices. But I don't believe we have to be buttholes about it. That's just my 2 cents. If you agree with me, put a yes in the chat. Let me know we're on the same page. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And also, I believe that Black love and relationships, it ties directly to Black wealth. Do not think that love and relationships have nothing to do with wealth, because I'm telling you, I know a lot of people whose financial lives are all messed up because they had a bunch of kids with a bunch of women and they can't pay the child support. I know a lot of women whose finances are all messed up because they had babies with the wrong men, and those men, those men ended up, not being good teammates. So your partner in your life is your teammate. So I married my wife not just because she's the most beautiful woman I ever saw, and to be honest with you, I wasn't exactly a guy who was excited about marriage when I was younger. It's more so that at that stage in my life, I was like, I really want a smart Black woman as my teammate. And if something happens and I'm in the hospital, I want somebody to give a damn that I'm in the hospital. Like, I want to have structure, I want to have legacy, I want to have an empire. And so you really got to think carefully about how you tie your personal relationships into your economic plan. And so some people, I laugh because I see guys that say that they think that that's simping to love a Black woman. And guys like that, unfortunately, they position themselves as enemies of the Black community. When you think that loving a Black woman is simping, that's the craziest thing in the world, because your mama was a Black woman. So guys like that usually are guys who hate their mothers, and they've been hurt by some woman somewhere. And because they're so weak and vulnerable and sad, they're carrying along with this bandwagon nonsense about hating Black women and thinking somehow that that's a sign of manhood. That's not masculinity. That is feminine. That's very petty. That's very, very weak. And so at the end of the day, I would encourage the real men in the room to stand up and say, hey, we love our women. We understand what our women's role is in helping us to succeed. I am here because of a Black woman. A Black woman helped raise me. So I'm going to make sure that I am supportive of Black women. So let's see, somebody says you don't have to explain yourself or your decision. No, I don't explain myself. What I do is I like to explain it so that young people will get it. Because I believe a lot of young people get very, very bad advice. And I don't want you to get bad advice that's going to cause you to make bad decisions. In fact, I know a guy who was a little bit older than me. He's like 55 years old. I'll be 50 in 2 days. Actually, my birthday's in 2 days. And he was 55. He had this whole I never want to be tied down to a woman. I want to be a player for life, that type of stuff. And that's fine. But the thing is that as a man, when he was like living at home by himself, eating whatever he wanted to eat and all this other stuff, he just died. He died in his apartment, and he died alone. And there was nobody there to check on him or anything. So when they talk about, I think Kevin Samuels said to that woman, he told her that she was going to die alone because of whatever was going on in her relationships. Well, I know a lot of men who die alone. Because they are 55, 60 years old, and they think they can live like 20-year-olds, and they eat the wrong food, and they just kind of are going from one, worthless relationship to another. And then next thing you know, when something happens, I can tell you that when you get sick and you in the hospital with cancer, them hoes ain't gonna really care about you. Like those random jump off women, those cheap women ain't gonna care about you. The real women in your life are gonna be the ones that are gonna come through for you. So it's really just kind of as a general life strategy, important to think about all aspects of your life that matter to you, so that you can make good decisions as it comes along. And this all links to wealth. This is a wealth related conversation, because that person you pick is the person who will either be the protector of your wealth, or they will be the destroyer of your wealth. So you decide what you want that to be. All right. So anyway, let me see here. Bakora says you start paying for your lifestyle decisions by the age of 40. Yeah, about 40 is when it starts kicking in. That's when you start realizing that you're not 20 or 25 anymore. And when you see like rappers, like when you saw DMX die in that sad situation he was in and all that, like that was pretty much a guy who lived one way when he was 29 or 30 and kept living that way in his late 30s and 40s, and then he's dead. And Black Rob, like a lot of these guys, I'm not dogging them or anything. I'm just telling you, like, that's what happens. So it's okay to be a young fool, but I don't know how good it is to be an old fool. Dorn says, Dr. Watkins, are you familiar with the book Economics in One Lesson, and would you recommend it? I am not familiar with that book. I apologize. I wish I could read it. Ronnie says, thank you. Continue to explain, because a lot of youth don't know. Yeah. I encourage, the men who are making smart decisions to kind of speak up a little bit, because I think that sometimes young guys are just misguided. They just don't know what to do. So they just think that, that it's cool to just, I don't know, just say silly stuff like, oh, well, if a woman has kids, I can't be with no woman that has kids. I mean, you could choose not to. That's fine. But when you think that woman is low quality because she has children, that's a little bit of a dangerous statement, because a lot of these guys had mothers who were single mothers, and I understand you saying that, you would prefer that kids have a two-parent household. But my God, when you just take a whole millions of people and say that they're worthless, I don't know how healthy that is for the Black community. Let me see. Feel free to put your questions in here. I know we talked about the stock market. So the conclusion on the stock market is that it doesn't. I'm not really worried about the long-term outlook on the market. Most of the experts feel very good about the market, but you are going to see some pullbacks as the Fed starts to shift its policy. And so you're not going to, so the good times are probably over. That's the point. The good times are probably over. The easy money is probably gone. Now this is where you separate the men from the boys and the girls from the women. A lot of people thought they were stock market experts last year, because you have people who didn't even know anything about the stock market in 2019 who suddenly proclaimed themselves to be stock market experts in 2020 because they were making money. And the thing is, it's like that Belle Biv DeVoe song. Remember that song? I thought it was me. I thought it was me who made that girl this way. I thought it was me. I come to find out she's like that every day, right? So they think that the stock market is the girl who just gives it up only to them. That they have some magic sauce or some magic formula for making money. When the reality is that the stock market was giving money to everybody. The stock market was like that every day for everybody. Everybody was making money in the market. And I mean, unless you were just really unlucky or you were a really, really bad investor, 2020 was almost impossible to lose money, right? But now, when you get into these interesting markets, the volatility, the bear markets, stuff like that, you got weird things happening over in crypto. I think the other day, Mark Cuban had promoted a crypto called Titan. Anybody see that? Give me a yes or no if you saw that. Where Mark Cuban was promoting the Titan crypto, and the Titan pushed up to like $60 per coin, and then it crashed to like half a penny. Like it literally crashed to like a fraction of a penny. And so Mark Cuban was trying to explain it away and kind of say, yeah, I got hit like everybody else. But what a lot of people kind of challenged him on is the fact that you have the crypto market, because it's such a bad market, because it's such an unstable market, it is heavily subject to manipulation by these influencers who will just tweet something and the price will just go up. So you just got to kind of be careful with that, because that can cause you some problems. All right, so which platform, Ronnie says, which platform or class that you offer teaches one to learn stock market basics and can assist them in picking their first stocks? Please advise. I'm ready. Okay. Well, let me give you something here. I'm gonna give you something free, and then I'm gonna give you the class that I do every Tuesday. So firstsharestock.com is totally free. That's where you can get started. So if your money ain't right, or if your money's a little tight right now, don't worry about it. We love you in the Black Business School regardless. We want to give you as much free stuff as we possibly can, because we are here for the world, here for the community. But because we want to maintain our economic independence, everything can't be free, because we want to create jobs for Black people. We want to buy buildings. We want to do a lot of things in 2021 and 2022, and that costs money. So for those who just don't have any money right now, or just want to just try us out and hang out with us a little bit, go to firstsharestock.com, and then you'll be on the email list. I'll send you lots of free stuff that way. Now, those who want to meet for class every Tuesday can join the blackstockmarketprogram.com. That program is $89 a month, and the first month is free. And also there's 5 years of curricula. I've been teaching students for the last since 2015, actually 6 years now. And also there's something in there called What Dr. Boyce is Buying, where I break down a lot of the stocks that I'm interested in that week and explain why. And then also every Tuesday we have class. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we have class. And in class, you can submit your questions in advance, and I answer all the classes. So let's see here. Antonio More did another video on you. I do not care. I don't watch videos that people do on me. That's what happens when you become quote unquote famous. You have people that will put your name in a video so they can get views on their own channel. So I wish them the best. I used to let Antonio More use my channel, and then I stopped letting him use it. So it could be a jealousy thing. I have no idea. Fully hitlets. I lost a lot of money in crypto. I had to pull out. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just get good advice from experts. Like don't just go buying something just because you saw your favorite celebrity promote it. Do a little bit of research. But remember, with investing's like love. Sometimes you fall in love and you get your feelings hurt, you get your heart broken. But that don't mean you stop loving. You don't become asexual because of that. You gotta try again. Just learn from your mistakes. That's all. Let's see. All kinds of Pied Pipers out here. Yeah, that's so true. Cloudflare did good today, says Rhea. It did. I don't know much about it. Let's see here. Stan Carter says, I agree with you, Doc, about people in their 40s and attempting to live the same life they led in their 20s and 30s, but just want to interject that with DMX, you're also talking about an awful lot of trauma. Yes, trauma. There's a trauma expert who hit me up today, and we were talking about Kevin Samuels, and she said, she didn't criticize him. She just said, I want to know who hurt him. She said, I want to know who hurt him. She said, he sounds like there's a lot of baggage, like he's really mad at somebody. And I'd love to know who hurt him, because he's hurting a lot of people now. And there's some other people online who maybe lash out a lot at people. And usually people who lash out are hurt. Somebody has traumatized them. So with DMX, hell yeah, you're talking about trauma. It was terrible. It was very sad to watch. Let's see here. I need to be on the 11 a.m. class every Tuesday. Well, you know what, Gina? Every class is saved. So even if you can't make class, the recording is available to you for as long as you're a member. So feel free to do that too. But coming to class is good because I can answer your question live and talk to you. I love to talk to the students. Rhea says, I'd love to hear Boyce speak on tax penalties and stock profits. Well, I'm not a tax expert, but I do know that investors pay lower taxes than workers, which is why you want to make sure your children become investors. That's very important. John C. Taylor, what's the percentage when going in on a buy? Is it best to come on low and never buy at market price? The percentage, I'm sorry, John, I don't understand the question. I apologize. What's the percentage when going in on a buy? I don't know. I apologize, man. I wish I could answer the question. It doesn't quite compute for me. Let's see here. That's what I thought when I saw Kevin Samuels videos. I've also reported him. Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It makes me sad because I believe that Black people are better off when we get along. I believe Black people are happier when we cooperate. I believe that we can express our point of view without necessarily having to attack and criticize each other. But all of us are guilty of it. I know I have been. I've done it, and I'm trying to learn not to do that, right? And I personally just kind of think that, in general, I want you to pay attention now. This is, when you talk about making money, I met today with a brother named Kari Muhammad. Kari Muhammad runs a great organization in Louisville, Kentucky. They're hosting the Knowledge Fest, which is tomorrow at the Muhammad Ali Center. And Kari, we were talking about business, and I was explaining to my little brother how getting past your trauma is really important for business. Learning how to get along with other people is important for business. Relationships are important for business. I said, like, look at me and Kari. I said, me and Kari have already talked 2 or 3 times about business we can do together. I'm going to support his company. He's going to support mine. And we're helping each other. 2 brothers are helping each other succeed. And I said, now think about this. Why is this happening? This is happening because we came together. We came together and we're communicating, right? So coming together and just communicating with each other is essential for building wealth. Like, that's how wealth gets built, is when people come together, they start trading, they start making deals. No different from if you want to make babies, You will bring together the prettiest girls and the most eligible bachelors, and next thing you know, they're going to get together, and things are going to happen, right? Children will come for that. Fruit will be born out of that. The third thing I said to him was, I said, also pay attention to how he carries himself. I said, Kari's not a narcissist. He's not some ridiculous, irritating egomaniac. He's not some easily triggered jerk that nobody wants to work with. He's a good dude, and he presents himself in a favorable, positive light. I present myself to him in a positive way. That makes us both feel safe and comfortable working together. Like, business doesn't get done with people you don't trust. Just like, think about it again. Think about it like sleeping with somebody. Would you sleep with somebody you don't trust? Ladies, would you sleep with a man where you think he might violate you? No, you wouldn't do that, right? So trust is really important for business because nobody wants to be violated. So basically, what I would say is that anybody who wants to really do well in life, learn how to be a good person. Learn how to connect with other people. Learn how to help other people and support other people. Learn how to get past your own trauma that might cause you to become easily triggered if you see something that bothers you, right? We all have it. And that trauma breeds fear. Fear is bad for business. Fear is bad. Chaos is bad. Fighting is bad. All that's bad, right? Harmony is beneficial. Connections are beneficial. That's why things like black men loving black women and vice versa is very beneficial. The black man needs the black woman because who has more education in America than the black woman? Right? Seriously, who's doing better economically right now than the black woman? The black woman, who's more sturdy in terms of being able to really handle some shit than a black woman? Like, a black woman can handle some stuff. Little Becky be done ran off. She done hopped in her Mercedes and went back to her dad's house in Malibu because she can't stand the rain. But that black woman will sit by and wait for you while you do your 30 days in jail. Like, oh, she really will. Like, like Alicia really will, like, roll up her sleeves and whoop a chick's ass if she tried to run up and do something crazy, right? Like, so it's kind of like, like I don't understand why black men can't learn to appreciate that. I think a lot of men do. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of men do, and I want to kind of highlight that so that we can, as we talk about the things that bother us, things that we're not happy with. Because let's just be honest, the fact that 72% of all black women grow up without their dad in the house, that's huge. That's a big deal. It makes a difference in relationships. Like, anybody who says that it doesn't is crazy. Imagine if 72% of all men didn't have a mother. Imagine how crazy that would be. We'd be a whole bunch of Kevin Samuels. Like, if all of us didn't have a mother and we mad because our mama left her. I know a guy like that. I know a guy whose mama abandoned him so that if his daddy raised him, he hates his mama and he hates women to this day. So there are some women that really do need therapy. They need something to help them with the trauma that they experience. But in terms of like good teammates and good allies, I can't think of anybody better than the black woman. And I think if you're talking about team black people, and you talk about a B1 philosophy where we're all wearing the same uniform, why wouldn't you want to build a strong black family as one of the key factors to fight white supremacy? So there you go. That's my 2 cents. All right, so let's see here. Too many people in the stock market pumping things, says Thomas. Yes, that does happen a lot, and it's getting worse because of social media, but that's just life. Not using my wool yarn. My apologies, says Ria. Okay. Our women are a backbone, bar none. Absolutely, Naeem, for sure. Let's see here. Okay, John says, I'm asking how to buy stocks that are cheaper than the market price. Seems as if I'm always coming in too low and end up not getting my order filled. Oh, yeah. Well, usually when you order stocks, they'll give you the bid-ask spread. The bid-ask spread is the spread between what they're willing to pay to acquire your stock versus what they're willing to sell it for. Those prices are not the same, right? So if I go to the market and I'm looking to buy a share of Apple, I'm going to pay a higher price than a person who's trying to sell a share of Apple. We will not buy and sell at the exact same price because of that little spread. That's how they make their money from being the middleman. So what you get to do is you get to pick a price, what they call a limit price. You get to pick the price that you're willing to buy at. And as long as that price is higher enough to get somebody to sell at that price, then you'll get the best price available, right? So you don't necessarily. So let's say that the spread is between 70 and 72, and I just put in a limit price of 74. Then my order will probably get fulfilled, but it won't get fulfilled at 74. It might get fulfilled at 72 or whatever the best price is. All right, so let me see here. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna get on out of here, guys. Giovanni says, I love your content, Doc. I love you too. Vern Williams says Kwame Brown is the man. Okay, well, all right, cool. Let's see. No comment. Let's see. Ronnie Lynn says, should my first investment be in coins or stocks? I'm leery about the coins. I like stocks better, Bonnie Lynn. I'm not telling you what to do, but coins are crazy and volatile and very risky. And I would just really invest with a grain of salt. And I don't put more than 5 to 10% of my portfolio on crypto because crypto could disappear tomorrow. Let's see. Sonia says, I asked you a question that I feel is very important and you choose to ignore me. I'm reaching out to you. You just like the rest of them all about making your pockets fat. Well, you did everything just now, Sonya, except ask me the question. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I can't answer every question that comes through. It ain't because I don't love you. I just didn't see your question. I apologize. But please, let's not go on the whole Boyce must be a scammer because he didn't answer my question trip. I get that enough, sweetie. All right, Lynn says the shift has taken place and the best is yet to come. Financial Juneteenth with Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Yeah, we're actually going to work on a book together when we go on our honeymoon. So that's something we want to do. She's a therapist and she actually has a coaching business. She actually coaches couples and she's really good at it. Actually, she's really into it. Like all she does is listen to podcasts on it and study it. And she's a full professor of social work. So she's a bad Black woman. Here's her website. If you want to go take a look, feel free. I don't know if she has room for more clients, but you can fill out an intake form if that's something you'd like to look into. All right, guys. I'm about to get out of here. Please hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button before you go. I'll check in with you guys before I do Knowledge Fest tomorrow. I'll try to go live with some of it because it's really great. It's right here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I love you guys and thank you guys for listening. And please have a good night. And I shall speak to you soon. Take care. Peace.